Patrick, do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Coach, a tough offensive outing there for Austin Reed and company, but you guys got the win and you found ways to score points when you needed to the most. Kind of just give me your overall analysis of the game.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been a part of a game like that in terms of it felt explosive at times. I think there was at one point in the game entering the halftime, Austin was like 18 of 22. If he throws 3 of those passes to us, he finishes, 21 of 22 with 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty incredible. But yeah, it obviously you want to limit the turnovers as much as you can. But sometimes games like that don't go your way, and you're going to make some mistakes. But really credit our guys for battling and playing hard and fighting through some adversity. We tell them all year that you never know how these games are going to go out, and there's 4 or 5 plays in every single game that are going to make the difference. And again, like Coach Helton said, credit our defense for kind of helping us out in some of those situations, and we came up on top on 4 or 5 of those plays that end up making the difference. So you want to eliminate the turnovers, try not to have 5 of them in a game like that, but felt really good about some of the other things that we did. We finished with almost 450 yards of total offense and did some really good things, and we're trying to improve on that. But it was a strange game for sure.
Obviously, you had some time to look at the film. What do you learn from that, and what do you apply from it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times when stuff like that happens, I think there's opportunities for our guys to, get down on themselves or maybe, get into the tank or something like that. So like I said, I credit those guys for battling back, fighting through some adversity. But, changed the look on us on defense a ton, from drive to drive, play to play, obviously, and a lot to learn from kind of an eyes standpoint at every single position. But learning where guys are going to continue to attack us for the last, into the 2 games that we have the rest of the season. But limiting the mistakes and not trying to do too much. I think that's also part of it too, is those guys are so excited to go out there and make plays, and sometimes when you're just trying to do too much leads to some mistakes, and we just want them to play after play and go 1-0 on every single play, and that's going to lead to some successful football.
Well, Saturday you also mentioned how maybe it felt like too freely in that game. Just some of those approaches just throwing snow coverage, or was it miscommunication? What was your when you talked to him, what was your outlook on that and some of those interceptions?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to put it. I think there was I think it goes 50-50, right? If you look at interceptions exclusively across the board, I don't think a lot of the times it's 100% on the quarterback or it's 100% on the protection of the receivers or anything like that. I think a lot of that, it was 50-50, and I think he put it, about the way I would put it. Trying to do too much, play too freely, trying to get the big play on every single play when the check down was there or things like that. And then at other times too, we don't fire for footballs in the air, and we could have made plays that we ended up not making. So it's just making those point with those guys and understanding that, hey, this is where those mistakes lie, and we need to clean that stuff up.
It seems like it's the first time in a while that the receivers had 100+ yard receiving days. What can you talk about, receiver play, just maybe starting to get that passing offense back?
Yeah, we saw opportunities to throw it downfield and take shots, and then, kind of to that last question, Austin, saying, hey, we're just going to make stuff happen downfield and we're going to throw it up and let our playmakers make plays. But was really proud of our offensive staff and the plan that we put together to know that we're going to go out here and hold up in protection, let those receivers do their thing downfield, and Austin was going to connect with them. Again, a strange game from a statistical standpoint because it felt like we were really explosive at times. And if we limit those turnovers, who knows what happens in the game from an offensive standpoint. So really proud of the receivers, really proud of the protection up front. And again, trying to minimize the mistakes, but maximize on the things that they did really, really well and improve on that going forward.
Craig Burke seems like he's a guy that's sort of solidified as maybe that third wide receiver out there. He's made some big catches the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he was a really late addition to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Craig's a perfect example of a guy that, like you said, got here late, had been around the program before and had played some ball around here before, but a guy that just comes to work every single day, steadily improves. He's got a great attitude. When the ball's not coming his way, he practices just as hard as he would, if he played like he did last week. Runs a really good stop and go and catches that ball in the end zone and made some really crucial catches, throughout the game. But proud of the way he played and proud of those other receivers too about the way they came out and attacked this week after a tough loss and came back and really, really helped us get the win.
I think you guys were missing River. What's his status? Do you expect him back this season, or?
Yeah, I expect him to be fine this week. He's day to day, but we feel good about kind of where his progression's at and where he'll be available this week.
When you have a day like that where you have so many turnovers offensively, does that make you want to tighten the playbook up a little bit, or is that your thought process when on a regular day that you have an over turnover day, but then you also, like you said, you throw for 300 almost 400 yards, so does that make you want to tighten the playbook up, or?
I don't know if tighten's the word as much as it's the minor details within plays, and it comes down to those details, right, that make or break you. I've talked about this before. Sometimes if you're playing with 8 or 9 guys instead of all 11 doing their job and focus on those minor details, it's players, not plays, right? Those guys will go out there and it doesn't matter what you call those 11 guys. If they're doing their job, everybody's going 1-0. Those guys will make you right, and sometimes if you're playing with 8 or 9 guys, or that kind of leads to mistakes too. So tighten it up. I don't know if that's necessarily the thought, but our guys are really, really good after games, understanding the mistakes and going out and practicing hard, trying to improve every single day. They know the mistakes that happen along with everybody else in the program. So I expect that, from an offensive standpoint, we're going to limit, those this week and figure out those mistakes and be primed and ready to go this Saturday.
What's your early impressions on FIU's defense?
Got a lot of respect for Coach Mack. I've squared off with him 4 or 5 times in my career, from when he was at Colorado and then again at Memphis. So, I would expect similar game plans the last couple weeks. Obviously they watch film too, so he'll have those guys ready. But again, I think you mentioned it earlier. The record doesn't really reflect kind of how they're playing. They stood up tall against Arkansas and did some really good things defensively. And I expect going into their senior day on Saturday, they're going to have a lot of highly motivated guys that want to play hard and finish their careers the right way. And, we're going to have to be having our jaw set and be ready to go.
Thank you, Coach.